The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is The Loud List, where our random, rowdy, and raunchy band of misfits create top 10 lists of life's most insane shit. Be scared. Nothing is off limits. So congratulations.
You just made the list!
I'm the music god CJ Plain, and this is another episode of The Loud List. Yes, I know, after bragging about not missing a single episode, I've managed for 2 weeks in a row to be late with episodes because, well, sometimes life throws shit at you, and you either pivot and miss it, or it hits you dead on. And right now, I'm kind of covered in a bunch of shit. But this dude over here, he's used to it. He's used to being able to smell me through the microphone. It is the man, the myth, the partner in crime on the Maniacal Musings, where I get to generously play co-host to Mr. Jeremy Bryant. How are you, brother?
I have been covering shit for this week too, but I had a light podcasting week, so when you said you want to do an episode, I was like, yeah, why the fuck not? I got nothing going on tonight.
Yeah, I didn't have one for this week, so I figured we'd throw this one together. I'd edit it and slap it up there for this week, and then I'll got a couple days to figure out starting next week of what to do. Between finishing up this photography stuff, mom's hospice stuff, and all this other stuff we got going on, man. It's just been one of them weeks where I can't seem to catch my freaking footing or breath, you know?
Yep, all too well.
But with all that said, I told this gentleman to pick a topic, and he chose a topic. So, for those of you that are newbies, he's going to tell you who he is, give you a little bit of background, and then tell you what topic he chose.
Oh, for those who don't know, I am Jeremy, the wonderful host of Paranormal to Normal, co-host of Maniacal Music Musings, and The Asylum with Harley and Joker. And I am as anybody who knows me knows, I am was a huge TV act before my Timothy took over the TV, and now I watch Miss Rachel all fucking day. But I used to be a huge TV addict, and we previously did an episode on 80s TV shows, and we said we're going to split it between actual TV shows and animated shows because there's just too many fucking things in the 80s.
Yeah.
So, and moving forward in time, all other decades after that. And I was like, all right. So I'm like, let's just do the 80s animated TV show one because I already had my list ready because I had my master list from the whole 80s together. So I'm like, I just deleted off the live action shows that we talked about last time, and there we go. I have a top 11 technically, but so it works.
Exactly what I have. I have 11. So, so I guess instead of an honorable mention this week, since we both have 11, this will be a top 11 best or favorite 1980s animated TV series is what we're doing. So, I normally keep a master list of what everybody has said, but having lost one of my best buds today, I am mentally not in a place to try to keep up. So we're just going to run down the list, man, and try to have a laugh with this because I really need a laugh. So with that said, what do you got at number 11?
Ooh, well, my number 11 would have to, and I know I'm gonna get shit for this, but my number 11 is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I never got into them that much. My middle child loves them. That she watches them all the time in the Nickelodeon 2000s one. But I did watch the 80s one when I was a kid on reruns, so I figured I might as well throw in the honorable mention because it's not one of my faves, but I watched it. It was every boy likes Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for at some point in his life for a little bit. So
Yeah, it wasn't one I watched a ton. I do have it on my list, but I kind of expected it to be a little higher on yours, but number 11 for me, I have Voltron. Um, Voltron was one that was on a ton during that time. I remember it always being on, but I never really sat down long enough to watch it the way I watched other stuff. There were cartoons, obviously, that I never missed. There were cartoons that I watched religiously, and there were those that were just kind of always on.
Yep.
So Voltron was one that was just kind of always on, and similar to the Transformers and a bunch of other shit. But it was a little cooler than most of the other ones. So had better music. So that's what
I never got. I mean, okay. Well, I should preface all this by saying I was born in '88, so I never watched any of these new. They were all. They well, actually, that's not true. But so if they were, I never watched any of them from the beginning new, and they never. Most of these I never watched before. A lot of them I didn't watch until I was a freaking adult. So it's Voltron. I just never got into. Wasn't it kind of like Transformers in a way?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I never got into it. I wasn't a Transformers guy either.
It was Transformers with better music. The main difference, Transformers transformed into single individual things. Voltron was the original Power Rangers type of shit. The 5 Voltrons came together into a bigger machine. Yeah. So Voltron kind of started the whole Power Rangers type of thing. So
no, Kenny, I told you to get me the red Mega Man so I could put it together with the blue and the green and the yellow to make Ultra Mega Man.
Number 10. What do you got at number 10?
This one's another one. It wasn't a favorite by any means, but it's from a IP I freaking love. Like all the other instances of it just wasn't one of my favorites, but I watched it when it was on Nick Jr. once in a while when I was a kid, and that's Muppet Babies. And my kid watches my daughter, my baby watches the new one now, so she doesn't like it too much. Sometimes she could watch it for a little bit.
Muppet Babies was cute. Again, one that I saw in passing more than ever actually.
Yeah. If it was on Nick Jr. and there's nothing else on TV, I'd watch it. But
yeah. Number 10 for me was one that I had a cousin who liked it. So I saw it a lot when I was at his house. But it wasn't one I really ever watched per se at my house. That's Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Okay, well that's funny because that's my number 9.
So
I would watch it pretty damn often when it was on Nick Jr. on repeats. I definitely would watch Alvin and the Chipmunks a lot. I loved the cartoons of that, and I mean I always liked music from a young age. So the fact that they sang was always awesome. And who doesn't love hearing the albums, the Chipmunk music during Christmas time? The 1 or 2 songs that are always in the grocery store and on the radio.
Wow.
Well, I love that song. I love that song the most. But
that was the original Alvin.
Oh yeah.
Thing, but yeah, like Alvin. It was a cool cartoon. It had some really funny moments, but at the same time, it kind of had some moments.
They had decent like horror Halloween episodes with it because I used to watch as a kid and get like the horror ones were like actually give me like the heebie-jeebies, like they're that good. So
so he already gave his number 9, which is Alvin and the Chipmunks. So my number 9 was one that all my friends were obsessed with. I always thought the show, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this. I always thought the show was really homoerotic. Really gay.
I'm not sure what show you're talking about now.
My number 9 is He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Oh, fuck He-Man. Oh God, no. The only good thing that ever came out of He-Man is all the Skeletor memes that are out there nowadays.
Yeah, like to me, it was like watching this show with the way they dressed He-Man and the colors they used, and it was just really gay looking to me. Like it was just one of them things that, and I'm not saying gay is bad. I'm just saying in the 80s when there was much less focus or emphasis put on it, and much more emphasis on males being machismo and tough and rugged. This was a cartoon that took something that should have been rough and rugged and kind of made it really gay.
Who played him in the movie? Wasn't it like Arnold or
Dolph
something?
Lundgren.
Oh,
Dolph
Dolph.
Lundgren.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. That was the era of Dolph and Arnold and Sylvester and freaking Jean-Claude Van Damme. Like,
the movie wasn't terrible. It wasn't great. I mean, it was really one of them. It was a movie of its time, and considering what you were working with, it is better than the newer versions they've made. The newer versions are just fucking horrifically bad.
My kids never got to do it either, thank God. But
yeah. So number 8. What do you got at number 8?
My number 8, and the only reason it's so low on the list is because they didn't make a lot of it. It got canceled pretty fast. But my number 8 is the animated Incredible Hulk show from the 80s, which wasn't as good as the one from the 90s or the one from the 2010s that they did, Hulk Agents of Smash. That was a freaking amazing show. I love that show. But that was like a good era of Marvel cartoons in the 2010s. But the 80s one was classic. The episodes were kind of boring because they were just Hulk smashes something and goes away. Like it's kind of like the same format every freaking episode, but I had to put it on the list. It's classic.
My number 8, you already mentioned it. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a cute show, not one I really paid attention to, other than I had a few friends who were punk rock type, and of course, Ninja Turtles was created by a punk rocker, and so it had punk rock cred, so they had to watch it, and they skateboarded and they ate pizza and all cool things when you're an 80s kid.
I mean, I love the 90s movie. I love the 90s movies. I love Go Ninja Go, and I freaking we played the shit out of the Super Nintendo game back in the early 90s. So
yeah,
I mean,
we Turtles in Time was one of the great games of that era. But just there was a lot. All the Turtles games were fun games. Frustrating, not as frustrating as Contra. Contra is that one game that made you want to just break every fucking thing. But yeah. Number 7.
Well, continuing the trend from my last number. Number 7, I watched the shit out on reruns in the 90s, and it's funny how it now has like nostalgia added into like the MCU now. But my number 7 is Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, because it was the most random team up of Spider-Man, Iceman, and the fuck's her name, Firecat or something like that. I forget her. Oh my god, I forget.
Ironbird was.
But I forget her fucking name. But seeing Iceman, Iceman on a Spider-Man show was just freaking weird. Like I never imagined that. Like as I got older, I kept thinking back to it. Like I'm like, as I read comic books as I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, why the hell would Iceman be on a Spider-Man show? Like of all the X-Men, it'd be like Wolverine of anybody. Like it's just I don't know. Marvel just
it was like in the late 70s when they did the Justice League cartoons, and they, at first it was Superman and Batman, and then they started adding in all of these things like the Native American giant dude and
people that weren't even in the comic. Oh, you mean Super Friends, like Super Friends shit? Yeah,
yeah. And then they had like the twins,
Wonder Twin powers activate.
You
Yeah,
know, and they just started sticking like random shit in there, and it was like, the fuck are these characters even coming from? Like, you know, all of a sudden went from being Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman to all of these random ass fucking people that
who weren't even real comic book superheroes. Like,
you know,
I mean,
or if they were like really minor.
Seriously, ones who make like an appearance like every couple years. But
You
but
know,
I fucking love the Family Guy tore the Wonder Twins apart though. When Peter's like, form of Janus tampon. Now we play the waiting game.
number 7 for me. This was a show I watched a lot because it was on directly before my number 1. And there's a story attached to my number 1. It was on, I think, for 3 years. It was a silly little show. Quite funny, actually. And one of the more original cartoons as far as the characters. It was a TV show called The Snorks.
I never got into that. I know what it is because of Robot Chicken, but I never got into it.
Yeah. Snorks was actually, if you watched it, was actually fairly funny. It had like some cute jokes going around, and I like the fact that it was just different. Like it was character story wise, like the Snorks were different than everything else, you know. I like that they created the Snorks and they were not aliens and they weren't animals and they were just kind of this.
And they weren't Smurfs.
Yeah, like they were almost a predecessor to SpongeBob, really.
Yeah.
Because they were, water based. Number 6.
My number 6, and this is the show that my brother, me, and our best friend used to be in the house every day at 4 o'clock to watch a Nickelodeon because it was fucking amazing. Inspector Gadget. Freaking. I freaking love Inspector. We loved Inspector Gadget. It was like James Bond for kids, but it was cool because he had like all these gizmos and gadgets that he could pop out of his body. The movie is fucking horrible, but the show was amazing.
So I have Inspector Gadget much higher. So we'll discuss it more when. Let me see. My number 6 were 2 cute little characters, and I much preferred this over other shows that were similar to it. I have Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. I loved Chip and Dale. Chip and Dale were much funnier than, say, DuckTales or other similarly cast shows. To me, anyways, I was much more entertained.
They had a huge following, and they do to this day still. I mean, now there's a new one on Disney Plus, but I never got into. I wasn't a big Disney kid for like Disney shows, like so. Chip and Dale, like in the '90s, you had to watch Disney Channel to really see that, and I just was not a Disney person by any means. So I never got into it. Like I never got into any of the Disney shit really. Like as a like
it wasn't
movies.
just a Disney show in the beginning. In the beginning, it was actually on ABC.
Well, Disney always owned ABC.
Disney owned it, but like it was, before the Disney Channel and all that. I mean, it was right there with like DuckTales and Darkwing Duck and whatnot. So, number 5.
My number 5, and I watched this a lot in the late '90s and a lot in my adult years because it's a freaking amazing show and it's kind of creepy and paranormal for people like me. And that's the animated Beetlejuice show. Because Beetlejuice is amazing as shit and the movies are amazing. And everything in Beetlejuice is amazing.
Yeah, I remember the show being on. I don't remember ever really watching it per se. Like I remember it being on. Like I said, I don't remember ever sitting down to actually watch it. So I can't say. My number 5 is another silly show. It was actually created by a Hallmark card lady. It was characters she was originally going to put on Hallmark cards, but she decided to create a TV show with it. It only lasted about a year and a half, sadly. But it was a show called Shirt Tales. And there were 5 of them.
Never heard of
There was like a panda and a tiger, an elephant, but the main one, there was an orangutan, and the orangutan's name was Bogey, and he was basically a.
I do know it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and he spoke in that "Who loves you, baby?" that 1940s Humphrey Bogart. Was who he imitated, and he had that Bogart voice in that character. And when they got excited, their emotions kind of flashed on their shirt. Cute little show. Probably not for everybody. I understand why it only lasted, because but for what it was a cute show, and I liked it, and I really liked Bogey. So much so that when I get this tattoo on my leg coming up, it's going to be like film wrapped around my leg, and each little square is going to have like a different character from cartoon childhood. Bogey will be one of the cells per se in the tattoo, just because I love Bogey. He's such a great character. So, number 4. What do you got at number 4?
I thought we were number 3?
No, you're at number 4.
Did I skip one? Oh, I did skip one. Shit. Actually, okay. Well, let's get pushed up to number 4. It should have been number 4. It should have been about Beetlejuice anyway. Another IP I love all iterations of, and there's not an exception to this rule. And so I had to put the Charlie Brown Snoopy show because I love everything that's Peanuts. Peanuts is one of the best IPs ever made. It's freaking amazing.
So you said Charlie Brown?
Charlie Brown Snoopy show. I grew up watching all the Charlie Brown movies, so I freaking anything Peanuts I'd always watch.
Charlie Brown was.
Even the new animated movie they did. I don't have Apple TV, so I can't watch like all the new like cartoons they do. But the anime, I haven't seen Camp Snoopy, but the animated movie they did back in like the end of the 2010s was freaking amazing. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, they made a movie, ended up making a movie about it years later. But the cartoons were so good. They were sort of animated shorts that were strung together as a cartoon, essentially. I think as a kid, we all wanted to be Richie Rich.
Yeah.
We all wanted to have an allowance of $1 million a week. So it was just between the silly dog and the goofy scientist and all the hijinks that were involved with it. Richie Rich is my number 4. So, and I still watch the occasional Richie Rich. If I can find it.
I don't think I've ever seen the actual cartoon Richie Rich. I watched the 90s movie with Macaulay Culkin over and over again as a kid, but I never actually watched any of the cartoons with him. What do you think about the theory that Richie Rich is Casper?
I mean, aside from the fact Casper was around for 30 years, around 30 years before Richie Rich, it works.
It could have been different time
by the same person.
Could have been different.
Cartoons came out in the 1950s, and Richie Rich came out in 3. So I mean, technically,
that's when they came out. But you don't know exactly what year it was in the show. But
I'm just saying, like, I mean, other than that small, anomaly in the timeline,
Yeah, it works.
It works for the most part. I mean, character-wise, I mean, they were written by the same person and animated by the same team. So,
yeah, that's why they look exactly alike. But
yeah,
my number 3, and this is a show I never once watched in childhood, I don't think, but I did a Netflix binge of it back right before COVID, and I think I ended during COVID. But the real Ghostbusters animated show, which there was 2 Ghostbuster shows in the 80s. The other one was horrible, looked like shit. The real Ghostbusters was actually made by the people who made Ghostbusters, and it was amazing. And the storylines were like freaking. The episodes were hilarious. The storylines were good. Like they actually did a good job on it. Like it was fun. Like I think it was like 3 or 4 seasons of it on Netflix. So there was like it's a fun watch, especially knowing. And the guy they got to play Bankman even sounded like Bill Murray, even though it wasn't Bill Murray.
yeah. I watch the Ghostbusters on occasion. Not a lot, but I was a big fan of Slimer. The Slimer character was pretty.
I love Slimer. I love Slimer. Oh, yeah, I love Slimer. He's in the cartoon. He's like an official 5th Ghostbuster in the cartoon.
Right. So number 3 for me, to me, was one of the great animation feats of that time period because it was dark, but it still maintained somewhat of a sense of humor in places. It was everything that He-Man should have been without all of the silly bullshit. Number 3 for me is Thundercats.
Never. That's how you know I'm not an 80s geek. I never got into that one either. Like there's a lot of 80s shows I couldn't get into.
Thundercats was so well designed story wise, and the creepy bad guy, was like Skeletor on steroids, and just it was He-Man, but just better. It was better written, better designed, better executed. The intro and outros were better. Just everything about it, and I really liked Thundercats. So
I'm pretty sure the people who wrote and designed it had some zoophilia going on, but yeah.
I mean,
fucking making muscular cat people. It's like that Stephen King movie.
Number 2, what do you got at number 2?
My number 2, and this was and still is one of my favorite cartoons of all time. I actually Vizio TV has this as a channel, so I actually was watching it the other day, like trying to get my baby into it, but she wouldn't go for it. My number 2 is Garfield and Friends, one of the best television shows of all time. It's perfect. The Garfield parts are perfect, and then like the Barnyard Friends part is like freaking hilarious. It was such dirty, nasty humor for kids. Like the freaking the pig and the duck had like the worst humor. It was just so funny, and there's so many seasons of it. Like it was such a great show. You always had new episodes. There was always new episodes like to watch if you've never seen it before. Like it was always something on, and it was on every day. So it was freaking such a fun show. I loved it. Like as soon as I heard that freaking tap dancing cat come across the fence, I was sitting down, not moving for a half hour.
My top 2, I was the same way. These were 2 shows that I never missed. One by choice. One I kind of didn't have a choice, but I have a lot of respect for it. So my number 2 is Inspector Gadget. I liked Inspector Gadget. I thought it was a funny show. It was that sort of, obviously it was based on Get Smart from the 60s, and it just had that perfect sense of silliness. I see elements of it in so much new stuff. Phineas and Ferb, I see elements of it in there. I see elements of it in
Dexter's Laboratory.
Dexter's Laboratory. Just so many pieces, throughout Powerpuff Girls and other things. But it was really one of them shows that it was fun, and so much fun that Dayton Family used the theme to record one of the great weed smoking songs called Billy Blood.
And it was also used, a sample of it was used in fuck, I forget who did the original, but I know ABK and DJ Clay did a version of it. No, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Well,
I forget.
Dayton Family did it in I think 90, 92, 91, 92.
Well, no, but the original rappers that used it and their version of it was like in the 80s. I forget what the hell it was called. Oh my god.
I don't know.
Get like it's all about, it's the whole song's about like them getting ready for the show, but like it's just like a funny song. I'll have to send you the fucking DJ Clay and ABK one, and then you'll recognize it immediately once you hear it.
Number one, what do you have at uno?
You're gonna hate me for this because of what it is, but it technically started in the 80s, very, very barely, but it started in the 80s, and my number one had to be The Simpsons because it started in the 80s, and it started in '89 technically, but it was on the Tracy Ullman show for like a year or two before that. So
I was gonna say it actually started as shorts on the Tracy Ullman show.
Oh, I've been watching The Simpsons since about 1993 religiously. I've seen every fucking episode out of like the 700 they've done. So I know more. I had every Simpsons book from the freaking bookstore when I was a kid with like all the guides to each episode and like things you missed and like hidden Easter eggs and shit. Like I knew more about Simpsons better when I was a kid than anybody. I fucking idolized Bart Simpson.
I don't disagree with number one. My number one, I watched it because we didn't have a choice. Funny story attached to it. So growing up at my grandfather's house, our house was heated by wood. We did not have an actual furnace in the house. The entire house was heated by a giant wood stove that was in the basement. And that meant every Saturday was wood cutting day. You woke up early, you went out, you cut wood, brought it home, chopped it, put it in the basement so that you had plenty of wood. One of the things that used to drive my grandfather crazy is my Uncle Bill, whose house was also heated by wood. We would show up at his house to pick him up, or because we had a caravan sort of. My Uncle Marty with his truck, Grandpa with ours, Uncle Bill, blah blah blah. We'd get to the house and we'd knock on the door, and Grandpa would be like, "Where's Bill?" "Oh, he'll be ready in a few minutes. He's watching the Smurfs." My Uncle Bill was a mechanic in his 50s, and his Saturday did not start until he had finished watching the Smurfs.
Random as fuck.
Used to drive my grandfather fucking crazy. It drove him nuts. He's like, "Goddamn fucking adult fucking holding up the whole goddamn show because he wants to watch some goddamn cartoon about little blue gay people." And I would just sort of chill out on the couch and watch the Smurfs with him, because, well, you weren't going anywhere until he was done watching the Smurfs. So it was either sit in a cold ass truck or sit in a warm house and watch the Smurfs. So
I never watched the cartoon really. The movies with Neil Patrick Harris were fucking good, but
yeah,
I never watched.
Those are really well done.
I never watched the cartoon though. I watched Robot Chicken make fun of it for years, but I never watched the cartoon. I've seen some X-rated versions of it, but
I have an affinity for the Smurfs now because of it, just because of the silly story that's attached to it. Not saying it's the greatest cartoon ever, but I mean,
why is there only one woman? That's always been the question I asked. What, like, it's a gangbang situation happening in that fucking village.
There were there were many, many sexual references throughout that show that at the time my brain didn't comprehend.
Oh yeah.
I watch it now and I'm thinking, oh damn.
Which, just saying, you can talk about that more when we get to when we get to the '90s someday. But we're gonna have to split that up because it's gonna have to be for me at least. Nickelodeon animated and then everything else animated, because Nickelodeon animated would make my list long as shit if I didn't separate it out.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never watched Nickelodeon a day in my life. So
Fuck.
the only let me back up. One show. There actually is one show that I watched. That was Nickelodeon. And
Ren and Stimpy.
Salute Your Shorts.
That was before my time. Before my time.
I watched Salute Your Shorts because during the time it was on, Danny Cooksey was part of it, and Danny and those guys had just started the band Bad for Good. It was this project of teenage kids that Steve Vai put together. At the time, Bad for Good, Danny was the singer. The drummer of Bad for Good is now the drummer for Avenged Sevenfold.
Okay.
Can't even think of his name. Anywho,
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know his name to begin with, but
it's just because it's gonna fucking piss me off now. It's oh god damn it. Brooks Wackerman, formerly of the band Bad Religion, also Bad for Good, Suicidal Tendencies, blah blah blah. But originally he was 16 at the time. They also had a bass player named Zach Thomas, and they had this little 12-year-old little whiz kid named Thomas McLaughlin. Ozzy discovered him in England, and he was the 12-year-old version of Steve Vai, just this brilliant guitar player. So Steve put this group together of, Danny and Thomas and them, and they put out this record of this almost extreme style, where it was, funky with guitar riffs and all kinds of shit. And Ozzy was on one of the songs, saying backup on one of the songs for him. And it was, for a group of kids that were basically between the ages of 12 and 16. It was a decent one-off.
Yeah. Sounds like it, but
it was sort of a gimmick band, not so much as costumes, but it was just the fact that everything was based on, Thomas was 12 years old and his guitar was bigger than he was.
Sure.
He played the Steve Vai Ibanez guitar with the handle and the swirls. If you've ever seen the Steve Vai video for the audience that's watching,
nah, I've never been a huge Steve Vai guy.
But if you ever watch the video, he's actually the kid on the bed who's playing the guitar. He plays the young version of Steve. So that's pretty much how it all came together. Anywho, long story short, this has been another episode of The Loud List. Check us out on Tuesdays, 9:00, Maniacal Musings, where me and this gentleman and our assorted victims that we reel in discuss music of all types, good, bad, or indifferent. And where else do they find you?
You can find me on Facebook as Squatchy Largefoot, on Twitter and the gram as @JuggaloBastard, and all three shows, Paranormal New Normal, Maniacal Music Musings, and Asylum, Harley and Joker, are all on YouTube. Best place to find them all. Podcatchers, of course, but YouTube's the best place to see them all.
Beautiful. With that said, be well. Treat each other with kindness. Remember that music heals.